Hi, and welcome to Morning Mindset with Aida Zafar. If you've been watching me for a while, this is episode 7, and you know that every Tuesday I come out with a new one of these. I hope you have been with me for long, and you know the drill that every week we do a new journaling video, which helps you focus, look into the future, look to the past, learn whatever you need to learn from the past, and plan for your future better. If you're joining me new, then please make sure that you have a pen, a notebook ready. The idea is that in 10 minutes of video, 10 to 15 minutes of video, you join me on a journey of journaling and finding the right mindset for you to find your focus, to focus on your dreams, to whatever it is that you want to achieve. It has helped me cope with stress. It has helped me find my positivity and my mental strength. And I hope to do the same for you who are watching. All right. So this week's theme, what is it? It is emotional intelligence. Why is it important? I have a quote for you to show you and make it evident. Here you are. So the quote is, emotional intelligence is your ability to recognize and understand emotions in yourself and others, and your ability to use this awareness to manage your behavior and relationships. And so what this quote means is, if you are aware of your own emotional intelligence, if you have emotional intelligence, this is different from regular intelligence. Regular intelligence just measures how smart you are, isn't it? Or depending on what kind of smart you're talking about, street smart, book smart. Nowadays, it doesn't really matter. Smart. But emotional intelligence, not everyone has it. And today it's become a real need to have it within you because to be aware of your emotions and how it affects you physically and mentally is very important. To be aware how external factors affect your emotions and how that impacts you is very important. To know how the emotions of other people impact you is also very important. So emotional intelligence, I would want to do something like that every few weeks. Examine my emotions related to different events in my past, related to different hopes and dreams I have for the future. Why? Because it helps you examine where you are feeling, what is missing. Are you afraid of something? Are you wary of something where you're not sure? Are you on the fence? Is there a memory in your past that you are holding on to, or that is holding on to you and it's not a good memory? Is there something like that happening? Then journaling, if you journal with me, it'll help you put it down on paper and let it go. That's important. And sometimes some emotions in our past or in our present are affecting us, but we're not aware of it. And that's normal. A lot of people aren't aware of what is going on around them, and it's actually affecting them, sometimes even physically. Sometimes you're physically feeling the effects of this emotional upheaval, but you have no idea. And that is how sometimes stress affects us as well, right? That's a whole other topic, and I can really talk about it, the effects of stress on your physical being, but that's not what today's video is about. Today's video is about journaling and emotional intelligence, okay? All right, so now that we know the theme for today, let's dive right into it. Okay, let's dive right into it. Now, you have a notebook ready, you have a pen ready. Let's start writing. Ideally, for your journaling. Okay, first question. What was the last thing you talked about with your mother? Just write that down, plain and simple. You don't need to write long answers unless the question specifically asks you or gives you a word limit. Like write this down using 100 words or something. Unless the question tells that to you, just write casually. This notebook, this exercise is for nobody's eyes except for your own. So you don't need to actually be writing down, you don't need to be worried about how you write it, your spelling, whether you're using the correct words or grammar. You don't have to worry about that. Just write the answer. The aim here is to explore your emotions, okay? So what was the last thing you talked about with your mother? Question number 2. What is your favorite color and why? All of us have a favorite color. All of us are made happy by that favorite color. Why? There's always a reason behind it, you know? Sometimes we know and sometimes we don't. Like, I don't know. My favorite color is purple, but not regular purple. It's like a lilac purple. I don't know why, but it kind of reminds me of my childhood room, when my first room as a child that I can remember, my first room. And it was like this lilac color between pink and purple. And it was just a happy memory. I don't know. Since then, I've just really enjoyed that color. Every time I look at that color, it makes me so happy. Just looking at it, and I just get this burst of emotion of happiness, you know? Okay, next. What sort of dessert do you like in the evenings? Pretty simple, straightforward. Let's move on to the next one. Question number 4. Describe a moment in your life that you want to always remember. It doesn't have to be just a good moment. It can be, it'll be great if it's a good moment, but it can also be a teachable moment, something that happened that taught you a big lesson. And you want to hold on to that forever because it's something that really resonates with you and something that really affected you at some point in your life. Next one. What is your favorite memory from your primary school days? I know there's going to be a lot, but try and just pinpoint one, right? Just try and pinpoint one and write that down. What is your favorite memory from those days? The good old days, no responsibilities, no adulting. If only we could travel back in time. I mean, for me, because I had like great memories. Not all, but yeah. Okay. Next one. Name 3 friendships in your life that you know will remain until the end of your life. They are for life. They are your ride or die. These friendships, you know they're never going to end. You're going to be 80 years old and still going to be together. Who are these 3 friendships? I mean, what are these 3 friendships and who are these 3 friends? Next question. How do you feel when it rains? For everyone, it's a different feeling. For everyone reacts to the rain differently. And somehow, rain is such I don't know, it brings something so basic out in us, you know? For some people, it's absolute joy. For some people, it's just frustration. And for some people, it's just like a romantic weather or very peaceful weather, you know? And for some people, it makes them sleepy. I don't know, you know? I mean, they're so content with it that it makes them sleepy. What does it bring out in you? Let's move on to the next part. Okay, question number 7. Write about a grandparent with whom you connected. A special grandparent with whom you really, really connected. Deep connection. For this question, write as long or as short as you want. Remember, you are the one exploring your emotions around this. It's not for anybody else's eyes. If you feel you need to, pause the video in between and just write as much as you need. And then you can play to go on to the next questions. Okay, next question. What is your favorite place to visit, to eat as a family? Where do you like to go as a family when you're eating out? That one place. Okay. Question number 8. Describe a typical Monday. Weekend is over. Talk about how you start the day until how you end the day. Typically, what happens? What time do you get up? What do you do? If you go to work, where do you go? If you stay at home, what's your routine like? Talk about that. Sometimes you can discover a lot about yourself just by examining what you do in the first and the last day of the week. Next question. Who were some of your childhood heroes? Now, these can be people in history. For me, I wouldn't say they're people in history. These are actually, superheroes that I used to follow in certain comic books and certain cartoons that I used to watch. That can also be it. Or do you have a live hero in your family? Who is it? Okay. All right. Section number 9. Oh, I just realized I keep saying question number 7 and 8, but basically we were like way beyond that. Actually, I've named the sections, not the actual questions, and I just mistakenly was saying question number 7, question number 8, section number 9. Okay. All right. Name 5 people you admire in your life and write down why you admire them. Just briefly. Why do you admire them? What is it inside of them that you admire? Once you're done with that, the next thing would be, what sort of adventure do you dream of going on? And don't think that you don't have an adventure. To have someone say, but I'm perfectly happy exactly where I am and I don't need anything else, I don't need an adventure, it's practical to say that sometimes, because in your life you feel like you don't need an adventure, or you feel like you're not open to it. Your life doesn't give you permission for it. But then journaling isn't about seeking permission. It's about letting you explore the boundaries of your mind, of your imagination, trying to see what it is that's inside of you. And sometimes it's not very apparent. Do you have an adventure that you feel you could go on? Or even if you can't go on, it's something so completely out of your range, but it's still there, right? It's still there as part of your dream. Like if there was no obligations, if money was no object, is there an adventure that you could go on, that you could see yourself going on? Okay, next one. Is there anything about yourself you would like to change? This is not about anything that anyone else has pointed out. Is there something in you that you feel you'd like to change? You'd prefer it was a little bit different. What is that? Okay. Let's move on to the next section. We're approaching our last section. Last 2 questions. Does anything make your heart feel heavy? And I'm talking about that feeling that you get like your heart is sinking. Is there anything in your life that you think about, that you imagine, and it just makes your heart feel heavy? Is there anything like that in your life? Be honest with yourself and write that down. Last question of the day. How do you feel about motherhood? Now, when I ask this question, normally mothers feel compelled to answer in the positive, with positive things like, oh, it changed my life, it's wonderful, it's amazing, that's great, and absolutely, absolutely true, right? But then we're all human, even mothers are humans, and it's not always the positive that gets us down. The positive in our motherhood roles helps us survive the negative. You know what they say when you've had a really, really hard day, and you've had you know that you've kind of maybe shouted at the kids a little bit, or maybe been a little bit too strict with them, or just had a really, really tiring day, really difficult day dealing with kids, and you just couldn't take it. It was really hard. You know what they say is the best remedy for that? Once your kids are in bed, just go, and they're asleep. Once they're asleep, like out, like a light, just go in their room and watch their sleeping faces for a minute. And that brings back all the love and all the joy that you have. I have done this on days that I find particularly challenging. And I just go, I take a look at their beautiful sleeping faces, their innocent faces, give them a kiss on the cheek, and the day is gone. The horrible, horribly tiring, challenging day, all that emotional burden is gone. It's incredible how powerful we mothers are. So we all mothers have positive and negative days, days, emotions, everything. Write them both down. Just because you acknowledge that being a mother is hard, or motherhood has its challenges, or some days you hate being a mother, doesn't mean you're a bad mother. It doesn't mean that that is the feeling that defines you. You're not angry forever. You don't hate your role forever. You don't, sometimes you're just like, oh, I need a day off. I need to be away from you people. And then you get the day off and you go away and all you can think about is the kids and you're calling home. You're like, are you guys okay? Is everything all right? I miss you. Just because you express a negative emotion doesn't mean you are that negative emotion. So don't be afraid to express that, okay? All right. No more long stories. I'm going to cut myself here short. Okay, fantastic. So we have made it to the last question. Absolutely fantastic job, you guys. This is amazing. Thank you so much for being with me today. I am so glad to go on this journey with you, to give you the power to help yourself, to help your mental health, to find your positivity, to find your focus, to find your inner strength, to find the belief that you should have in yourself through journaling, just the way I did. And I hope you guys can stay with me and see you again next week on Tuesday. Thank you so much. Bye.